You thought surviving the heartbreak was the end. It was just the opening scene. The silence didn't kill you. The memories didn't finish you. The nights where your chest cracked wide open but you still showed up the next morning. That wasn't recovery. That was initiation. Into what? Into the kind of man who doesn't just survive loss, he sharpens through it. See, part one was the fall, the cut, the mess. You lost her. Or maybe she left before you realized she was gone. And you've done what most men never do. You didn't react, you rebuilt. Quietly, with discipline, with fire behind your eyes that no one else saw. You chose not to text. You deleted the past, you trained through the ache. You returned to the version of yourself that didn't need her to breathe. But now you've reached the part that breaks even the strongest men. What comes after the comeback? Because here's the secret most won't admit. Once the pain fades, once your hand stops shaking, once the weight doesn't feel like death anymore, a new kind of danger shows up. Comfort, complacency, and the slow, quiet drift back to the same softness that cost you everything. You don't rebuild just to get back to who you were. You rebuild to become undeniable. This chapter isn't about healing. It's about domination, self-command, mental edge, emotional precision so sharp she could walk past you tomorrow holding another man's hand and you wouldn't even blink. This is where we separate the men who just don't want to hurt from the men who want to lead themselves. This is where you learn to set boundaries that can't be crossed, where you become so deeply rooted in who you are that no woman, no human can shake it. If that's the man you're becoming, Victory Stoic is your home. Hit like, subscribe, share this with a brother who survived but hasn't yet risen. Drop your command phrase in the comments. I don't rebuild for love, I rebuild for legacy. Or share the move you made that took you from broken to breathing again. Don't keep your fire to yourself. Someone else is walking through their own darkness right now, waiting for a voice like yours to light the path. No more hesitation, no more questioning. From here on out, you don't just move forward, you move with force. Let's begin. Number 6, kill every hope, even the hope that she'll miss you one day. Hope is what breaks you, not the heartbreak. Not her silence, not even the betrayal. It's the quiet, constant fantasy that she might still be thinking about you, that maybe, just maybe, she regrets it, that she scrolls through old photos when she can't sleep, that she plays your songs, that she's comparing every man to you and they're all falling short. That hope, that's the most toxic drug a man can take. And the worst part is, it feels noble. It feels romantic. It feels like proof that your love was real. But it's not love anymore. It's emotional delusion, and it is ruining your ability to reclaim power. You're not holding on to her. You're holding on to a version of her that only exists in your mind. A version where she realizes what she lost, misses your voice, writes a message she never sends. That version is a ghost, and you're haunting your own life, waiting for it to show up. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The longer you hope, the longer she wins. The Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus wrote, "It is not the loss that harms us, but our opinion of the loss." You think you lost something sacred. That's the opinion keeping you chained. You believe you were part of her forever story. That's the lie tying the noose around your drive, your presence, your growth. The most brutal step in becoming a man again after heartbreak isn't letting go of her hand. It's letting go of the image in your head where she looks back. Because the real secret? You don't become unforgettable by hoping she regrets leaving. You become unforgettable by becoming unrecognizable to the man she left. The moment you cut the last thread of hope is the moment your clarity returns. That clarity? That's what makes her unsettled. That's what flips the polarity. You want to confuse her? You want to make her question the decision she made in silence? Then stop orbiting her memory. Stop standing at the edge of her world hoping to be seen again. Make yourself so centered, so locked in, so untouchable, that if she ever does look back, she doesn't recognize you, not because you changed for her, but because you evolved beyond her relevance. Let's talk psychology. Hope, in the wrong context, becomes a cognitive trap called ambiguous loss. It's the kind of grief that keeps you stuck because there's no closure. No clean death, no final conversation, just a cliffhanger. That unresolved ending keeps your brain replaying every moment, looking for signs, reinterpreting old data to keep the possibility alive. And your nervous system? It stays flooded. on edge. Every notification becomes a shot of cortisol. Every dream becomes a battlefield. You never really rest, because hope, when weaponized against you, becomes a self-inflicted wound. Here's a real man's story. Chris, 39, used to work in marketing in Denver. His ex left after 5 years, moved out with half his furniture. No fight, just I don't feel it anymore. 2 months later, he was still hoping. Kept her number saved, kept an old voicemail she left him after their anniversary. He told himself he was healing, but he was secretly fantasizing about the moment she'd text, "I miss us." It never came. His therapist gave him one assignment. For 30 days, every time you feel the hope rise, say out loud, "That version of her is dead." Not metaphorically, literally. Bury it, let it rot. On day 17, he deleted the voicemail. On day 30, he changed his number. On day 60, he ran into her at a bar. She tried small talk. He smiled, excused himself, and left. No performance, no ego, just unshakable presence. She messaged him that night, "You seem different." That's how you make her question. Not through words, through absence. Through becoming so disciplined, so far removed from needing anything from her, that your silence starts speaking for you. Here's your protocol. 1. Write a letter to her. Not one you'll send. In it, confess every hope you still have, every scenario where she comes back, every fantasy you can't kill. 2. Now read it once, and then burn it. 3. Write one sentence on a clean piece of paper. "The only thing I'm waiting for is me." 4. Read that every morning, out loud, like a code. 5. Every time the urge hits to stalk her page, replay old conversations, or wonder if she still thinks about you, do something for your future self. Workout, read, learn a new skill, leave her ghost waiting. You don't kill hope with more logic. You kill it with movement, with fire, with force. And every time you don't reach for her, you reach for yourself. That's how you reclaim your edge. One day, maybe she'll remember the way you used to orbit her. Maybe she'll wonder why you don't anymore. Maybe she'll feel that chill in her gut when she realizes she no longer lives in your head. That moment? That's the real shift. And if it never comes, it doesn't matter. Because you didn't rebuild yourself to make her look back. You rebuilt yourself so that you never need to. Number 7, stop watching her life like it's still yours, because it isn't. You want to know if she went out last night. You want to see who she's posting with. You want to read between her captions, decode her outfits, analyze that quote she shared. Was it about you? Was it a message? Was that new guy just a friend? You open her story. No sound, no swipe. Just stare. You watch it from the shadows like some digital ghost still trying to prove you exist. But let's be honest, every time you check, you lose a piece of yourself. Not because of what you see, but because of what it confirms. You're not her choice anymore. And the more you watch, the more she knows it. That you're still there, that you haven't moved, that you're still orbiting the world she no longer lets you touch. And the worst part? She doesn't have to say a word. You say it for her. Every view, every click, every just checking in. Your attention is a silent admission of weakness, a confession that you still care more than she does. But the man who wants her to question, who wants her to wonder where you went, what you're thinking, why your name hasn't appeared in her story views for 2 weeks straight, that man doesn't watch. He vanishes, fully, cleanly, like a blade pulled from the wound. No noise, no announcement, just gone. Stoic philosopher Aurelius said, "Withdraw into yourself as into a citadel, for there is no fortress more impregnable than a mind fortified with reason." You can't fortify a mind that's constantly bleeding through a screen. Your strength is leaking through pixels, one view at a time. You want power back? Then make yourself a mystery again. Let's talk about Justin. 34, San Diego. She broke it off, said she needed space. He took it literally, deleted socials, didn't mute her, didn't block, just vanished. He told himself, if she wants to find me, let her look. 3 weeks later, she DM'd him. You disappeared. Why? He didn't answer. She kept watching his life now. New routine, new gym, new silence. Her curiosity grew with every day he didn't acknowledge her existence. That's the reversal. You want her off balance? Pull all of your energy back. Make her story view list feel incomplete. Make her second guess your detachment. Here's the 3-step execution. 1. Unfollow or mute her. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to be petty. You just remove the window. 2. Log out of your second account. Yeah, that one. You know what it's for. Stop. You're not a detective. You're a man rebuilding a kingdom. 3. Every time the urge hits to check, do something irreversible. Cold shower, push upset to failure, delete an old conversation thread. Make your discomfort productive, not pathetic. Think of this like a battlefield. You're the general. Your army is your attention. Your attention is finite, valuable, powerful. Would you send troops to a burned-down city that no longer serves you? No. Then why are you still sending energy to a woman who's no longer building with you? Withdraw your army. Regroup. Redeploy. Because here's what happens when you stop watching. She notices. Maybe not day 1, maybe not week 2, but one morning she taps her story view list out of habit, and you're not there. Again, and again. And suddenly she feels something she hasn't felt since she left. Doubt. She wonders if you've forgotten. Wonders if you've replaced her. Wonders if you ever cared. That's the power of silence. It creates questions louder than any message you could send. She can't feel your absence if you're still halfway present. You're not leaving breadcrumbs. You're feeding your dignity to a memory that doesn't even text back. So stop watching. Stop checking. Stop thinking her life is still yours to monitor. It's not. It ended. But yours didn't. And if she ever does circle back, ever throws out a "Hey stranger," or a "You've been quiet," you'll know exactly why. Because you finally had the discipline to disappear. Not to play games, but to prove a point. You're not just out of her life. You're beyond it. Number 8. Do the one thing she thought you'd never have the spine to do, and let success slap louder than words. She didn't just leave. She doubted you. Shrugged when you talked about that business idea. Laughed when you said you'd quit the job you hated. Rolled her eyes when you told her you'd get your body back. She didn't believe in your vision. Not because it wasn't real, but because you hadn't become the man who could prove it yet. You were still explaining, still planning, still hesitating, and she saw that. She left with the quiet confidence that you'd stay stuck. That your potential would stay potential. That if she ever looked back, she'd still find the same version of you, talking big, moving slow. So now you have a choice. Either live down to the limitations she projected onto you, or rise in silence and let your life become the rejection letter she never expected. Stoic philosopher Antisthenes said, "The most useful piece of learning for the uses of life is to unlearn what is untrue." She believed something untrue about you, that you couldn't, that you wouldn't, that you didn't have the depth, the fire, the drive. Now your job isn't to convince her otherwise, it's to unlearn your own fear. There's no revenge like evolution, no closure like results. Think of Raymond, 37, Atlanta. His ex told him during their breakup, "I just don't see you being the kind of man who follows through." That line broke him. For 6 months he worked 14-hour days, cut social media, started the side business he always talked about but never started. 16 months later he bought a Tesla, launched his brand, hired a team. When she randomly viewed his story and saw the office, the new build, the caption, "We don't talk, we just work," she replied, "Wow, you really did it." He didn't answer, because now he didn't need to. Here's the trick. Don't do it for her, but don't forget what she said either. Let it echo in your mind every morning you want to sleep in. Let it sting just enough to fuel the fire. Not to prove her wrong, to prove you were never what she thought in the first place. And let's be clear, this isn't about the car, the promotion, the six-pack. It's about turning the old "he'll never" into "he actually did." It's about letting her wonder what it would feel like now to sit beside you in the passenger seat of a life she didn't wait for you to build. Here's your method. 1. Write down the exact words she said that made you feel small. 2. Post them somewhere only you can see. 3. Create a plan, daily, weekly, long-term. 4. Execute, relentlessly, quietly, without status updates. 5. When the results come, say nothing. You don't owe her an invite, just drive. She doubted you because she only knew the version of you that still needed her approval. Let the new version of you walk past her one day, and let her wonder where that man came from, because the man she left behind, he doesn't exist anymore. The man you are now, he doesn't explain. He just arrives. Number 9. Don't think, just move, because thought and pain is suicide in slow motion. You are not thinking clearly right now. Let's stop pretending you are. Heartbreak scrambles logic. Loss distorts memory, and pain, when left alone in the dark, will hijack your mind and turn it against you. That voice in your head, the one telling you to analyze everything, replay everything, dissect every word, stalk her last online activity, compare timestamps, reverse engineer her silence into some noble reason, that's not clarity. That's emotional decay. That's what it looks like when thought becomes a weapon pointed at your own chest. And the more you sit, the more you spiral. The more you analyze, the more you rot from the inside out. You cannot think your way out of this. Not now. Not in this state. Your mind is compromised. It's not trustworthy when it's drowning. So don't feed it. Don't reason with it. Don't let it seduce you into sitting still just to figure things out. You want to save yourself? Then move. Now. Before you start convincing yourself to bleed. The Stoics understood the disease of inaction better than anyone. Cleanthes said, "He who postpones the hour of living rightly is like the rustic who waits for the river to run out before he crosses." You're standing at the edge of the river right now, waiting for the pain to calm, for your thoughts to settle, for clarity to arrive. It won't. Not unless you move through it. Not unless you put your body in motion and drag your mind behind it like a disobedient dog. Motion isn't escape, it's conquest. It's not denial, it's control. Because right now, stillness is your enemy. Silence is a liar, and your own thoughts are dripping with poison the longer you let them brew. So you want to survive? Want to reclaim your spine, your presence, your grip on the moment? Then schedule your life like a soldier in recovery. Hour by hour, no gaps, no time for reflection. Action over introspection, movement over meaning. You don't need understanding, you need structure. Ruthless, mechanical, unbreakable structure. Wake up at the same time daily. Don't feel into the morning, attack it. Make your bed, ice your face, drink water, put shoes on, no phone, no music, no scrolling, cold silence and movement. Immediate task completion. First small win, then another. Stack them like ammo. The day must be hunted, not observed. Let me give you someone real. Marcus, 42, Ohio. Wife of 14 years cheated, gone in a week, left him with the mortgage, the memories, and 2 kids who didn't understand what happened. First few days he stayed in bed, ate cereal at 2 a.m., watched old wedding videos, thought he was processing. He was actually decaying. Day 6, he did one thing different, made his bed. That was it. The next day, added 20 push-ups. Day after, went for a walk. On day 10, he set a schedule. Every 15 minutes accounted for. Cleaning, errands, workouts, cold showers, no negotiation. By week 3, he still missed her. But he no longer needed her. And he said one line I'll never forget. "I didn't think my way back. I moved my way forward." That's the strategy. Treat your schedule like your new spine. When everything else collapses, when your heart begs for stillness, when your thoughts want to curl up and drown in what-ifs, you answer with a calendar so tight it doesn't let grief breathe. That's not toxic masculinity. That's survival with intention. Because most men spiral not from the pain itself, but from the freedom to sit in it too long. Here's your protocol. Take out a piece of paper. Write these headers. Wake, fuel, move, build, earn, learn, clean, sleep. Under each, write exactly what you will do daily. No optional tasks, no waiting for motivation, no room for thought, only execution. Your brain isn't the general anymore. Your schedule is. Every time your mind whispers, "Should I message her? Should I check her page?" You don't respond. You open your schedule. And you move. Psychology backs this fully. Behavioral activation therapy shows that action precedes emotion, not the other way around. You don't wait to feel better to move. You move to stop feeling worse. Your brain is built to respond to completion, to progress, to small wins. Every task you finish while in pain is a middle finger to the part of you that wanted to give up. So move like a man, rebuilding a kingdom. Because that's what this is. You're not walking through hell, you're laying bricks through it. And while other men break down and try to feel everything fully, you will breathe through gritted teeth, pick up the next weight, finish the next task, and build something inside yourself no woman can ever take again. Don't think. Think later, when you're sharp. Think when your spine is steady. Think when your routine has carved out a new version of you that can hold thoughts without drowning in them. But now, you move. And if you must think, think one sentence only. This pain does not deserve my stillness. Schedule your freedom. Guard it with aggression. Weaponize your routine until no thought can catch you. You don't outfeel heartbreak, you outwork it. And if you stay moving long enough, one day she'll see you and not recognize the man who used to sit still, waiting for her love to return. Number 10. Let's stay friends is a lie you tell yourself to stay attached, not because you've moved on, but because you're afraid to forget. She says, let's still be friends. You nod, you smile, you pretend it's mature. You even tell yourself it's a sign of emotional intelligence. But deep down, you know the truth. You're not agreeing to friendship. You're clinging to the wreckage, hoping that if you stay close enough, long enough, she'll change her mind. You're not staying friends. You're staying available, emotionally on call. A backup plan in plain sight. You're the one who will still pick up at midnight. The one who will still respond to her stories. The one who will be her emotional support until someone else earns the right to be her body. Let's stop pretending. Let's be friends. Is code for don't go far, I might still need you. But what she needs is not what you want. You want love. She wants comfort. You want intimacy. She wants familiarity without responsibility. And if you agree to that, you're signing up to bleed slowly, politely, with a smile on your face. Think about it. Would you ever walk into a restaurant that poisoned you last time and say, it's fine, I'll just have a drink? No, you cut it off. Because pain doesn't need a second dose. But here you are, texting her memes, liking her posts, asking how her day was. Meanwhile, she's out there healing without you, dating without guilt, and sleeping better knowing you're still orbiting like a good little placeholder. Epictetus wrote, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. In other words, if you feel pain every time she treats you like just a friend, it's not because she's cruel, it's because you agreed to terms that dishonor your own boundaries. You handed her the power, you let her dictate the new dynamic, and you stayed. Because staying felt easier than facing the truth, she moved on. Let's bring this down to the real world. Tyler, 36, Colorado, girlfriend of 3 years, broke up with him. Classic line, I think we're better off as friends. He agreed, they kept texting. She told him about her week, asked for advice, leaned on him emotionally, until 3 weeks later she posted a photo with a new guy. Tyler went numb, rage, confusion, betrayal. But what did he expect? He stayed in her life as a friend, thinking he was being noble. But he was just the spare tire, kept inflated until she found a better ride. After that, he cut her off completely. Blocked, deleted. He told me later, I didn't get over her until I accepted that friendship was just another way to delay the funeral. Here's the image. You're in a burning house. She left. You stayed behind to guard the ashes. And now you're choking on smoke, telling yourself it's noble. It's not. It's suicidal nostalgia. It's emotional masochism. You weren't built to stay behind for someone who already walked ahead. You want clarity, you want closure, you want power back? Then decline the friendship, fully, cleanly, unapologetically, not to be petty, but to finally step out of the role she cast you in, a role you never auditioned for. The supporting character in a story that used to be about both of you. Here's what you do. 1. If you've already agreed to friendship, send one message. I've realized staying friends isn't healthy for me. I need space to truly move on. I wish you the best. Then disappear. 2. If she reaches out after that, ignore. No explanation needed. She already had your heart. She doesn't get to keep your energy. 3. If the urge to check on her hits, remember, spare tires don't get chosen first. They get used when things fall apart. You're not a backup plan. You're not a half-love. You're not the emotional concierge for someone who decided they want freedom, but also wants your loyalty on standby. So ask yourself this. Do you want to be her friend, or do you just want proximity to the woman who used to love you? Because one will keep you bleeding, the other will let you heal. And until you choose, you'll stay stuck in the middle. Friendship isn't the bridge to get her back. It's the chain keeping you from walking away. So cut it, and walk like you never planned to look back. Number 11. Don't blame yourself for loving fully. The mistake was hers for not knowing what she had. You gave it honestly. You showed up when it was inconvenient. You listened when you were tired. You chose her over ease, over ego, over everything else that could have made you colder but safer. You opened the door wide and let her walk into the deepest part of you, the part few ever get to see. And now you're sitting there in the aftermath wondering if you were too much, too available, too soft, too trusting. But let's be real. The pain isn't proof that you were wrong. It's proof that she wasn't ready. We live in a world that glorifies detachment. Ghosting is easier than confrontation. Sarcasm is cooler than sincerity. Control is more valued than connection. So when you show up raw, open, consistent, protective, direct, you feel like the outlier. Like maybe you should have played it differently. Like maybe if you'd held back just enough, you'd still have her. But that's false, because the truth is, you gave her gold, and she couldn't carry it. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The suffering you're in now is built on imagined guilt. You keep replaying what you said, what you gave, what you offered, as if your love was the problem. It wasn't. The issue was that she mistook depth for burden, honesty for pressure, your presence for possession, but none of that is yours to carry anymore. She will wake up one day, in a room filled with people who like her stories but don't know her silence, who laugh at her jokes but don't stand with her in breakdowns, and she'll remember what it felt like to be fully seen, fully chosen, fully protected. And that's when regret will hit her, not because she wants you back, but because she'll finally understand what she lost. The kind of man who doesn't come around twice. Real story. Andre, 33, Houston, dated a woman who said he was too intense, that his loyalty felt heavy, that she wanted more space. She left. 2 years later, she reached out. She said, "I didn't realize how rare that kind of love was. I just wasn't ready." By then, Andre had built a business, was engaged, and said something I'll never forget. "She wasn't wrong to walk, but I was right to love." That's the energy, that's the lesson. Your love wasn't a mistake. Her inability to receive it was. Here's how to shift out of self-blame. 1. Write a list of everything you did right. Not to praise yourself, to see clearly. Because memory plays tricks when wrapped in rejection. 2. Every time you feel shame creep in, say, "I didn't fail, I gave something real, she just couldn't hold it." 3. Remember, her regret is her journey. Your healing is yours, don't mix the two. 4. Use the same energy you spent on her to now build you. Routines, health, work, silence, presence. Because your heart wasn't the problem, your direction was. This is your new standard. You don't dial down love, you raise your filter. You don't become less sincere, you become more selective. You don't regret feeling deeply. You regret handing depth to someone shallow. That was the real mistake. And it won't happen again. One day, she might see you again, or hear about you, or scroll past the man you've become, and she'll pause, and she'll know she had something rare, and she couldn't hold it. But by then, you'll be long gone. Not bitter, not broken, just better, because you finally stopped blaming yourself for being everything she wasn't ready to deserve. Conclusion. Don't try to make her regret. Live so you never want to return. She might regret, she might not. She might remember the way you looked at her when you believed she was yours. She might feel a phantom in her chest when she hears your name in a crowded room or sees a man walk by who almost, but not quite, carries your presence. But none of that is your concern. Because this isn't about making her miss you. This is about making you undeniable to yourself. You don't rise to spite her. You rise so that you no longer recognize the man who once begged for breadcrumbs. You don't chase revenge, you chase refinement. And if one day she circles back, the version of you she once knew will be gone, upgraded, hardened, sharper, not cruel, but untouchable. The mission was never to hurt her. The mission is to build a life so deep, so disciplined, so full of silent fire that even if she wanted to come back, there'd be no door left to knock on. Let her wonder, let her scroll. Let her smile at old memories and shrink at the thought that the man who once worshipped her no longer even thinks about her. Let her hear your name and feel the weight of what she let go, but never speak on it, never need it. Because your peace is louder than her closure will ever be. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man must stand erect, not be kept erect by others." That's the assignment. Stand on your own spine, not on her validation, not on her guilt, not on her regrets. Yours. So here's what you do. Stop watching her. Stop waiting. Stop secretly hoping she wakes up at 2:47 a.m., thinking about the way you used to kiss her forehead. She might not. You'll never know. And that's the beauty of it. You've outgrown the need to be remembered. If this video slapped you awake, if it felt like it pulled your soul back to its feet, like, share, and subscribe to Victory Stoic. We don't do pity. We don't play victim. We train for war inside and outside. Drop your command phrase in the comments. Short, sharp, sovereign. Try, I don't look back, I build forward. Or share your battle story, the moment you stopped trying to make her miss you and started becoming the man she couldn't reach anymore. Thank you for listening, for choosing clarity over chaos. And remember, you don't walk away to be missed, you walk away to be reborn. No vengeance, no theatrics, just distance, silence. And a man shall never meet again.